Welcome to the Uncle Hack Podcast, where dudes pretty much just talk dude shit.
Welcome to another episode of the Uncle Hack Podcast. Upcoming show dates, as always, August 17th this weekend in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Next up would be September 6th in Edmonton, Alberta. September 26th in Comox, British Columbia. September 27th, Victoria, BC. October 5th, Chicago. October 12th, Fort St. John. October 25th, Red Deer, Alberta. October 26th, Wetaskiwin. November 1st and 2nd in Fort Worth, Texas. November 7th in Fox Creek, Alberta. November 8th, Peace River. November 9th, Grand Prairie. November 16th, Toronto, Ontario. December 19th, Oxnard, California. January 24th, Slave Lake, and then New Year's Eve in Castlegar, British Columbia. Tickets available at dangercatshop.com. If you want to support this wonderful broadcast, please head on over to patreon.com/dangercat69. Great way to support the show. Hey, buy a guy a beer. Hey, why don't you buy a guy a fucking lap dance? Why don't you? Jesus. The Olympics are over. Many of us could have cared less. Some of us cared too much. In the grand scheme of things, it seemed like the whole event itself, being the Olympics, was a bit of a gong show. All right? Outside of the athleticism that was displayed in Paris, there was just nonsense happening. You had a river full of caca. It's too early to be cussing in this show. I believe you get you nosedive if you say naughty words in the first 10 minutes for the YouTube portion of the show. But the river in Paris was extremely infected with disease. The Parisians were threatening to defecate in it more prior to the Olympics happening. The mayor then goes out and swims in the river. You had trials happening for a swimming event, I believe like the triathlon portion, and they were vomiting upon getting out of the river. It was a full-blown gong show. Athletes, then you get the fun part of it. Athletes and people on TikTok using this as an opportunity to try and meet Olympians by using Bumble. A lot of fun things happening, why not? See, this is where I agree with those people should be procreating more than any. I don't know if any of you seen that documentary of that knob in I believe it was New Zealand. I can't remember, some country in that area. Who cares, right? But there was that documentary on Netflix, and he was just a serial sperm donor. I think, it's a great off-season activity that Olympians should have. That's a perfect off-season activity for those. We need athletes. We need motivated people. Right now, like the unmotivated are procreating and out banging and I get it. You got too much time dedicated into this sport, understandably so. But this is where you got to kind of wipe your hands clean of it and just allow those people. You just get to donate your jizz. Create another, maybe like a half kind of I get up in the morning and I make my own coffee type person meets with an Olympian. We can maybe create somebody that isn't going to strive to be a Twitch streamer. Maybe something just a little further than that. The youth right now in the West are really fascinated with the idea of fame, and fame means nothing now. It literally means nothing. There's electricians that are famous. There's guys that, you know, like that just regular day run-of-the-mill dudes that are famous on the internet. So fame doesn't mean anything anymore. You used to turn on the television and they would decide who's famous. When they were in charge, it was almost kind of better. You know, it was a little bit better. The internet has like exposed us as human beings and where we are intellectually on an overall, you know, like a case study kind of, you know, like you interview 1,000 people. Here's the consensus of this report that we all sit in this little area and the internet has exposed us as being, you know, quite stupid. That's the unfortunate part. The fortunate part, if you're on you could be a sliver past the average dum-dum, right? You could just be enough where you can look back and be like, thank God I'm not in last place. Thank God I'm not. And that's what you should be celebrating as a human being right now, is that you're not the dumbest. Some of us, you know, I'm putting myself mid-pack. That's because I can still look at people and think like, holy hell, I can't believe what you just said. And then I say things and other people look at me like that too. So I have to have a little self-awareness. I know where I put myself. Looks wise, maybe a 5.8, riding a 6 on a good day. I'm 33, not much going on, chasing a career late in my fucking back nine, just starting the back nine here, if you call it that, you know. I'd say like 30s. You're in the clubhouse right now. You're in the clubhouse grabbing a cocktail ready to hit the back nine, you know, of life, that is. That's where I think 32 to 38, that's the clubhouse years. 40, you're on the 10th tee box. It's a decline from there. The game is almost over. That's how I view life, is a golf game. The front nine, always fun. It's always fun. The front nine of life is always fun. It should be. You're not sunburnt yet. You barely started drinking. You crack your first beer on the first tee box. It's good. By the 8th, you're like, holy shit, I'm starting to get a little drunk. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. That's like 27, 28. The 9th tee box, you're staring 30 in the eyes and you're a little worried on how this is all going to pan out. You know, did I make the right decisions in my youth? And then the clubhouse comes where you can kind of kick your feet up. Okay, I got a decent enough job. Life is all right. Things are going okay. I'm going to get a drink and a sandwich so I can feel well. And then the 10th tee box, now you're a little sunburnt, heat stroke starting to settle in, problems are starting to arise. You know, my back's sore every time I wake up. I don't know what it is. Oh God, I drank 2 glasses of wine and had a nightcap. I just had a whiskey Coke and I'm feeling like hell the next day. These issues start to arise in your life. And that's all right. We got to accept it. There's too many guys my age that are like looking at Botox like it's a good idea. It's not a good idea. Just age. Just age. It's fine. Lose your hair, okay? You have to accept the past. You have to accept that in your youth, that was your hot, young time. You blew it. It's over. There's no going back. Quit trying to savor the youth. There's no smoothie. There's no fucking cream. There's no injection that is going to make you look younger. It's just the nature of things. We age out. It's upsetting. It's upsetting. Men, knock it off. I don't know what my issue is with it. Maybe it's me projecting. There's probably some projecting going on where I'm like jealous of handsome men or possibly guys that have no shame whatsoever going into, I think they're called estheticians or whoever injects your face getting fucking Botox. I can't have crow's feet. Why? What are you doing? What are you going to nightclubs? You hanging around 22-year-old girls and you're trying to appear younger to them? You got the face cream going on so it all looks shiny. All of them got like a doll face kind of, and it's not good. You know, men, I think are just meant to look like grizzly, grumpy, old fucking lumberjacks from back in the day. You should wear the pain of your past on your face, respectively. I just think that. You know, I think it's, I look at a guy, an old fella, you know, you see the old guys and they're sitting around, their face is droopy. They got the circles going on, just raccoon eyes constantly, can't get a good night's rest. The wrinkles are fucking there from the scowling for years and years. And it's like, that guy's seen some shit. I can see that. And I know he can offer me some advice. Now, when you're injecting all that and it's just like, you know, it's pulling your skin back and you look, there's that face, there's like a wax figurine that can sweat. And you see that and you're like, oh God, I don't know if I trust the advice of this gentleman. You know, that's all I'm saying. But we're lying to ourselves. A lot of us are lying to ourselves, especially surrounding a lot of these boxing, well, I expose what's coming up next, especially around some of the events unfolding with the Olympics, okay? The Algerian boxer that won gold had everybody in an uproar, beats an Italian in like 43 seconds, and then all of a sudden the idea that she's trans is out there, and all I have to say to this is, who cares? Who cares? No one knew Imane Khalif's name until the allegations popped up. No one Googled who's on the Algerian boxing female team. The female who's boxing from Algeria. Nobody Googled it. No one cared. And then the allegations, and then the truth starts coming out is that I think she beat a Russian who was undefeated. So they went back and said, now this could all be made up nonsense. You know, the Russians, many of their fighting organizations, known for being quite honest. Very honest, those Russian athletes, you know, the first ones to come into the Olympics all juiced up on testosterone. Yeah, they got the Russian gas in them, powerlifting houses, and the whole world scratched their heads in awe. Well, what's going on here? Something can't be. So she beats up a Russian. They go back. They say she's got too much going on there. There's some XY chromosomes. And now we're talking about an Algerian athlete, okay? I can't really, you know, I scratch my head and I think countries in the Middle East really known for their progressive politics. I imagine it'd be very easy to walk around as a trans woman in Algeria. Do we have to scratch our heads about this one? You know, well, the Algerian athletic, and it's like, am I advocating for men in fucking women's sports? Yeah, I am. Let's make it better. Why not? Whenever I see all these fat losers across Twitter, all of a sudden concerned about female sporting events. When has your thought pattern of physical fitness, when have you sat there thinking to yourself, boy, what's on the television right now? Should I throw on let's throw on the female professional hockey league. And all due respect to them, I'm just saying it's not your first draft pick. But it isn't until something like this happens, then men start to throw around their 2 cents. And these are guys that you look at and be like, listen, you struggle using steps, okay? If there's an elevator present, you're taking that. If there's an escalator right beside a staircase, you take the escalator. You're not that guy. Now, if male athletes are coming out and they're talking about this, we should listen. We should listen and just give them the respect of the floor. You don't have to take what they're saying as scripture. You don't have to look at this like, oh, yes, no, this genius, this guy right here, he's got his finger on the pulse of everything that we need to know morally. Got it. Okay. But we got Twitter accounts. Ugh. And I enjoy them. Trust me. This is the type of entertainment that I get. But I just like taking a piss on it. That's all. I'm just saying. First off, when have you cared? All right? It's even like when Leah Thomas was in Div 1 swimming. All of a sudden now, what? We're in the female swimming? And I know it's a slippery slope to go down, and a lot of folks get a little sensitive when we're talking about trans athletes in women's sports and whatnot. And we throw our hands in the air. What are we going to do? It's like you don't watch it anyways. It's underfunded. This is the only way they can get eyeballs on this sport. And then that's when the donations start coming in. You start supporting, and it lasts for... we got the attention span of a goldfish these days, so it lasts for about 2 days, and then we move on to the next thing until that name pops up, and then we're like, oh, we throw this fake outrage out in the air and just keep moseying on until the next thing. We just jump from fire to fire. Don't do anything to try and put it out. You just carry on. You just want to throw your 2 cents into the wishing well and have your voice heard. Where I'm saying, I don't care. Oh, that was a bit of spit that came out. I'm just saying, I didn't wake up in the morning and go, oh boy, I want to make fun of it. But that's as far as it goes. I'm not at rallies. I'm not showing up to public speakings to hear about the struggle of a female athlete. It's just not in my, and nothing against them. Nothing against them. You have the freedom in North America, in many places across the West, to go out there and be an athlete and be funded by whatever organizations are handing you the money so you can continue the training to represent your country. Wonderful. That's great. That's wonderful. But I'm just saying, in a circumstance like this, let's get into the article part. Algerian boxer Amain Khalif wins Olympic gold after social media firestorm. Algerian boxer Amain Khalif defeated Chinese opponent Yang Liu in the 66 kilogram gold medal bout at the Paris Olympics on Friday. Khalif received a warm welcome from the crowd as she entered the ring at Roland Garros Stadium for her first bout of the games. Algerian flags were seen waving all around the arena. In the first round, both fighters, whatever, blah, 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 move on. I'm very happy. For 8 years, this has been my dream, and now I'm an Olympic champion and gold medalist. She said after the fight, I've worked for 8 years, no sleep, 8 years tired. Now I'm an Olympic champion. I want to thank all the people who have come to support me, all the people from Algeria and all the people at my base. I want to thank all the team, my coach. Thank you so much. Very joyful. Very joyful. Now let's get into the controversy, the fight trigger. Here we go. Khalif had been the subject of global attention after defeating Italian boxer Angela Carini in just 46 seconds in a preliminary match. The fight triggered a... Get the fuck out of here. The fight triggered an onslaught of online abuse with transphobic commentators incorrectly calling Khalif a man because she failed a so-called, I like that, so-called, put it in, gender test by a now discredited boxing federation that had been stripped of its ability to run the Olympic events. The International Olympic Committee took over the sport for the 2024 games because it decided that no international federation was qualified to run the sport and emphasized repeatedly that Khalif met the criteria to compete. So an Italian gets punched in the head, and in just 46 seconds, it's, oh, she's got a spaghetti and a meatball downstairs. And their prime minister, I believe, even came out and gave a very, very, very heated press release on the matter. And folks, it's like it went that far up the chain in Italy. And it's like, first off, let's say this lady is trans. Let's say she is trans. When have the Italians ever been against trading teams? I do recall a time in the 40s, you were marching alongside an Austrian painter, and by the end of it, all of a sudden you're on the winning team. So shouldn't you be celebrating this? This is a bit of Italian culture, isn't it? To bandwagon jump into a gold medal. But now when the shoe's on the other foot, you have an issue with it. So now the Italians, I like what they've done here with this, they fire back. And they said, you know what? We're not going to be embarrassed again. So what do? This is interesting. An Italian sprinter to be first transgender athlete at the Paralympic Games. Well done, Italy, on the clapback. Well done. Valentina Petrello, a visually impaired 50-year-old sprinter who was selected to represent Italy in the women's 200 and 400 meter races in Paris. Well done. Don't go down swinging. I applaud this. You've seen a loophole in the system, and look at the photo. This is what I'm saying, from earlier, of a little self-awareness. That's all we're asking when it comes to this. It's like, can I look at this lady and think to myself, yeah, that's a woman. And as you get older, maybe the route, I take my nonsense of the whole Botox rant. It's like, if this is the route you're going to take, go for it. Get the Botox, do it all. Do the lady shit. So now Italy has decided that Valentina Petrello is set to become the first openly transgender athlete to participate in the Paralympic Games after the visually impaired sprinter was selected to represent Italy in the women's 200 and 400 meter races in Paris. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's a lot of jokes to be made here, and I'm not about to do it and be like, okay, so what? What's her disability? Being transgender? I'm not going to make that type of joke on this show. I'm not going to sit here and do that. You can't be disabled twice. I'm not going to sit here and make those types of jokes. We're better than that. We're moving on. Last week was that was my red pill episode where we went off. We went off on certain culture issues inside the borders of Canada. And we're not going to do that today. I'm better than that. I've moved on. I've become a better man. We're sitting here. We're progressive enough to think that men should be allowed to come into the Olympics and slap around women. They can be double disabled and come in. I'm on their team now. There's nothing. I have nothing against this. Again, why not? I'm not going to sit here and be that guy that makes jokes saying yeah, no, this is exactly where the trans athletes should be participating in, is the disabled Olympics or the Paralympics. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to sit on this show and do that. You're out of your mind if you think that's funny. And me saying that right now is this should, as you're listening to this, you should be questioning your morals. Because we're not making those types of jokes on this podcast no more. That's reckless behavior. I got to move forward. I got to get booked around the country somehow. Every other week, I got to get a phone call being like, hey, and I got to tell them, no. You're mistaken. I've taken 6 months. I did DEI training with the government of Canada. I went down to Service Canada. I said, reprogram me. That's what I did. And they put some Dr. Ho's electric shock pads to my mind They zapped my brain like it was a MK Ultra experiment, and they shocked all those bad negative thoughts that I have towards minorities, towards different races, religions. All of that has been zapped out of my existence. Just a couple volts through the system, and here I am. I'm being progressive on this show today, and I don't know what else you want me to do. This is what you're getting. The 50-year-old who transitioned in 2019 won bronze medals in both events at the Para Athletics Championship last year in Paris. Prior to transitioning, Petrillo won 11 national titles in the men's category. Oh my. Okay. Rightfully so. I still find it hard to believe that I'm keeping my feet on the ground because my chance to participate in Tokyo was missed by a whisker. On what side? Who transitioned in? When was Tokyo? Would have it been 2019? When was the Tokyo? See, this is how much I care about the international stage of athleticism that takes place with the Olympics. I still find it hard to believe missed a chance by a whisker. See, and again, I know all you twisted bastards that listen to this are looking at this and they're thinking, missed it by a whisker? Who's whisker? Not funny. Who's whisker? Was it yours? Prior to the... We're not going to make those jokes. It's grotesque. You're out of your mind if you think that we're going to do that anymore around here. You got to be out of your mind. I will only start thinking about the Paris Games once I arrive. Diagnosed with Stargardt syndrome at the age of 15. Petrillo's visual abilities are limited to 1/50th of the normal range. International Paralympic Committee President Andrew Parsons told the BBC that while Petrillo is welcome in Paris under the World Para Athletics policies, he wants to see the sporting world unite on its transgender policies. Good for Andrew to step up and allow, it's very, very, very wonderful that they found a home. And I know that you think this is a joke, don't you? You're sitting here listening to this and you think that this is all a big ha ha. We just sat there. We were progressive as ever on this show. And then now you want to have a little giggle because the trans lady can't see. And you know what? Rightfully so. I mean, if we're going to go down that road, well, we might as well be accepting of it. If we're going to travel down the road of letting trans people compete in the Paralympics, this could get exciting. And I don't want to be the silly guy that has to sit here and talk about it week by week. I'm just saying that the Olympics as a whole, just when you zoom out of all the events and you see all the headlines that were coming out of it, I think this has got to be the year where we were all scratching our heads a little bit and being like, Jesus Christ, when does it end? And it didn't end. I'm sure by now a lot of you have seen the videos that are going viral about Reagan, the Australian B-girl who has a PhD in breakdancing, I believe, and did not score a single point through her 3 battles in breakdancing in the Olympics. And she has become a global sensation in the form of mockery with her breakdancing abilities. Now, a lot of people are coming forward, and rightfully so. I believe like you deserve a little bit of this, but the chairman of athletics with Australia has come out, and she has a different opinion to what the rest of the world has, and we are going to listen into this because it is truly remarkable on the nonsense taking place here.
I haven't spoken to Rachel yet, but what I can say is that I love Rachel, and I think that what has occurred on social media with trolls and keyboard warriors and taking those comments and giving them airtime has been really disappointing. If you don't know Rachel's story, in 2008, she was locked in a room crying, being involved in a male-dominated sport as the only woman.
Now, let's pump the brakes here a little bit. You know, we do have to. Then you hear that, right? And you think, oh boy, this is upsetting. Enough. Nobody should go through that. Nobody should go through being discriminated against on just wanting to have a little fun dancing with a bunch of people at competitions. But at what point? Here we go. Let's take a look at the breaking abilities of the legendary ray gun. Here we go. Right there says it all. Let's take a look at the crowd, okay? Right. Black dude in the background can't believe what he's witnessing right now. Two old guys sitting back there. You know, like I think I've seen this before at a few weddings. Once my wife had a few two martinis and felt the need to get up there and show her moves while Bruno Mars was blasting through the airwaves. And then there was a young girl who looks like a part of the event itself that is flabbergasted on what's taking place in front of her. The moves that are happening here. At what point, now we go back to what that lady just said. She was in a male-dominated sport. This is a professor at a university who decided that breakdancing, this is where my self-awareness as a 33-year-old guy looking in his past goes, oh, should I start a comedy career this late in the game? Should I begin it? The answer is probably no. Probably no. But you also have to look on the other side of the spectrum, okay? Now, all that shit that we talked earlier about fat guys on the couch saying that, fucking Olympics. Now they can look at this and they think to themselves, oh, now I have an opportunity to compete in the Olympics. This isn't good. Scored 0 points in 3 matches and then gives people the idea now we have everybody coming to the forefront saying that they want to compete in the Olympics. What are the Olympics going to be in the future? Dr. Dre just came out and said that he wants to compete in archery. No, knock it off. Knock it off. There are people that train for this their whole lives. And just because you want a little spotlight because Ray Gun went up there, no, we don't need to be making fools of ourselves. Let your fellow countrymen just go and compete in the one thing that they've devoted their lives to. We don't need to step in front of. This is the best that they got. This is the best that they got. It's disheartening, is what it is. But I like her. I like somebody that is just so delusional that they can take a stage and just think like, this is going swell. This is going amazing. The oh that you're hearing, oh, that's like when you imagine many of you play mixed softball or have participated in a softball tournament at some point. And you know when a woman gets hit in the face with the ball and like, that's the oh, Jesus. Oh, this is not good. There is a atrocity that just took place in front of your eyes. And oh God, this has set the sport back so many goddamn years. And this has become a talking point. This is what I mean. Like, the Olympics, nobody's talking about world records. Nobody, even though plenty have been broken, whether it be just the European record, the Canadian record, a lot of records got broken this year. Nobody's discussing a single one. The complete mockery of the Olympics right here before your eyes. Now you're looking at what the competition actually is. Pardon that interruption. We left speaking about the B girl, and we left after such a remarkable performance by this, I want to say, middle-aged woman, 36 years old, lifelong passion of breakdancing, and now we go back to Anna Marez, who is part of the Australian Athletic Commission, speaking about the controversy and the discrimination against Rachel Reagan Gunn's great courage.
And it took great courage for her to continue on and fight for her opportunity to participate in a sport that she loved. And that got her to winning the Olympic qualifying event to be here in Paris.
Now, with that being said, well, I know we're taking forever to get through this. That's fine, because there's lots to discuss here. Because now there's a petition that has popped up online in regards to that Miss Rachel Gunn went and created her own breakdance commission or committee, so that way they were able to take control of all the qualifying rounds to then, which would lead to Australia's breakdance fucking performance that we witnessed not too long ago. You know, so this is just, it gets juicy. I spent way too much time taking a deep dive down this because I found it so interesting. Because my first question was, how does you see that and immediately you think to yourself, is this the best that Australia has to offer in breakdancing? And then you realize, like, they are just a bunch of drunk idiots on that island. You know, the culture surrounding Australia, I've never once said, oh yeah, breakdancing. You know, you think breakdancing, New York City, Tokyo, a lot of good Asian or Japanese breakdancers. Asian, same, whatever. Who cares? Moving on. France, another country that's known for breakdancing. Pretty much those are the top three that come to your mind. And then I guess, you get a Canadian, and I believe that looked like he was a young Filipino boy, and those Filipinos love to sing and dance. So that, thank you for representing the country in the manner that you did, good sir. But with this is where it gets interesting, because there is currently a petition, and we know how scary petitions can be, right? We've had a few wrote about us. And petitions can practically ruin you. And right now, okay, we're going to take a look at this together. Hold Rachel Gunn and Anna Meares accountable for the unethical conduct. Olympic selection, 14,435 signatures out of 15,000. Oh, wow. The undersigned call for immediate accountability and transparency in the recent actions of Rachel Gunn and Anna Meares in the selection process for Australia's female breakdancer representative at the upcoming Olympics. Rachel Gunn, who set up her own governing body for breakdancing, has manipulated the selection process to her own advantage. Despite the clear talent and qualification of other outstanding female breakdancers like G. Clef and Holy Molly, they were unfairly overlooked. The NT Yulong Boys, a group of incredibly talented and underprivileged youth from the Northern Territory, were denied crucial funding by Dr. Gunn to attend the qualifiers. A decision that directly impacted their chance to showcase their skills on a national stage. Disturbingly, Dr. Gunn went on to win her own qualifier, defeating other phenomenal breakdancers, raising serious questions about the fairness and integrity of the process. If Dr. Gunn's husband is indeed the Australian coach and part of the selection panel, this represents a blatant conflict of interest that cannot go unchecked. So now we get the truth of how someone like Rachel Gunn gets into the Olympics. So you got to cheat to win. So this is everything these days. You have to cheat to win. And I don't know how many times this has to occur before you noodleheads start fucking cluing in. I mean, I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired of having to read articles of this manner, and then, you know, it comes to light that, yes, there was a committee that she sat on. It's every board that's ever been created. Pick one. Pick one. There's either financial motivation or, in this circumstance, just because I want to compete in the Olympics. Whether I have the talent, which she clearly does. I've seen some breakdancing before in my life, and that is some top-notch stuff. I don't even know the words to describe the moves, but you know what? You know me. I tune in. I tune into the Red Bull breakdancing competitions. I know what's going on. I've seen the Jabberwockies. I've seen them on an America's Got Talent stage before. I know what I'm talking about. That's some good old white girl breakdancing. And I don't understand why everybody's up in arms about this. That's the best we got for the honks. Us crackers, you know, we haven't been, it has to be in a form of a line, like line dancing, any form of tap dancing. You get us in a classical dance, all sorts of dancing that the honks are known for. Not exactly break dancing, but that's okay. We needed some representation in there, you know? We just did. You seen? There shouldn't be honkies in break dancing. Simple as that. But we found a loophole. See, if you can't win with your abilities, you can always find a different angle. I remember reading, who's that famous author? He's always doing he's always got those like fucking bro code books of like how to get rich and whatnot. Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss did the same thing. He just found a loophole in the Taekwondo championships and then won himself a world title from doing this. And now he's recognized as a world title. There was like something in the rule book that he found. If he kicked his opponent off the stage, they are immediately disqualified because they did not stay in the arena. So that's all he did. He just worked a system and then booted these guys off and bam, off the mat. There you go. Now you win. All due to disqualification, where here is the same manner. You got to get yourself into a position of power if you want to get anywhere in this life. How many times do you need to be told this before you understand it? I don't know. That's what the show is designed for. You know, you can't play by the rule book. Come on, people. Jesus Christ. We have, this woman goes up and you know, I hate to say it, but there's probably about 7 or 8 crackheads outside of some 7-Eleven in a torn down area in whatever major city in Canada that we could have put up against her and scored more points. Let's be honest. I seen the same thing of somebody tweaking out from a bad batch of, ice. One hit of speed. And that's the same movements. We could have got the same thing. I could have gave you one good haul off a crack pipe and put a rat down your pants and you would have had the same outcome. If not better. If not better. Because at least you would see moves that were like, oh, that's a very unethical, but it comes across athletic for some reason. It would be a real noodle scratcher. We're right here. You got a sober white woman thinking that she can move and groove. We got Elaine from Seinfeld kicking and moving in a way that just, it looks robotic. It looks very robotic. But that's how the honks got to get in to breakdancing into the Olympics. You got to set up your own committee and voila. And you just You got to be friends with some people. The old saying. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Is the best breakdancer female that we have for Australia. Now you look at the...
This is where it gets good.
She is the best breakdancer female that we have for Australia.
That's, you know, after reading what I just read and then you making a statement in this manner is just very, very, this is what I mean. Like a little self-awareness. That's all we need. That's all we need. Just a little bit. You got to be able to look in the mirror and criticize yourself. Okay. You got to be able to, or at least allow some criticism to come in. 2008, she's sitting in a room with, she's locked in a room crying because 8 guys said, no, you fucking what? You suck at this. Get out of here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you here? And it's tough to hear that, but it's okay because a little honesty is good in this lifetime. I don't know why we got to be upset at folks that just lay the truth down in front of you. We got to constantly, you know, we were told we were great growing up, and then it's all a sham. Once you get to a certain age and you got to look back on your life and just be like, I can't believe all that. And a lot of us like to disassociate with the actual facts, and we like to live in the fantasy world that, you know, was built around us. All these walls and guardrails to make sure that your little feelings weren't hurt. And it's tough. And then you have somebody else come out and blatantly lie to the media that this is great. This is great. Also, this is perfect. If you're a ray gun, this is what you want to hear. That you are Australia's best female breakdancer from the Australian Olympic Committee. From the top of the top, some top brass right here, folks. Looked at you, probably doesn't have a fucking clue about breakdancing, but in her mind, you are the best. What do I care? Honestly, she shouldn't. First year it's in, you let a moron go up there, make a mockery out of herself, and now the whole world has something to laugh at. So we applaud that. We thank you for that. That is a part of it. That is a part of it. That's why a lot of people look at the Olympics now. Like I said, just before the little break that happened here, a lot of folks now are looking at the Olympics like, no, I can compete in this shit. You've opened up the door. You've solidified in some folks' mind that somehow deep within that they are athletes. This is going to be a problem when it comes to Los Angeles in 2028. How many folks right now are thinking they're going to have an Eddie the Eagle story because of this right here? If breakdancing comes back to the Olympics, I swear to God, I hope all the shit posting trolls come out and they just have a heyday with this and they participate and make a mockery of what all of this is. This is merely just a money laundering event. That's all it is at this point. You know, you can work hard all your life. There's events that we should still take somewhat serious. All the events that took place in Athens when the Olympics were first started, you know, you got to have some wrestling, some martial arts, boxing, running, jumping, throwing sticks, all sorts of fun stuff that we can devote our lives to, and every 4 years gather around and watch the best do what they do. And that's what Ray Gun offers us now, is the idea to live inside our heads that one day we also can be Olympic athletes. And I don't find anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying on the self-awareness part, you got to be able to look in the mirror and be like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like her to look at that French dancer and yawn as if like, this is boring. All we're doing, this has to be trolling. This has to be trolling. But then you start to listen to these women talk and you start thinking to yourself, like, this is just delusional behavior. Like, for instance, let's get back into
the history of what we have had as women athletes has faced in terms of criticism, belittlement, judgment, criticism, and simple comments like they shouldn't be there. 100 years ago, leading into Paris 1924, Australia sent a team of 37 athletes. None were women. 100 years later, we have 256 women represented here. And Ray Gunn is an absolutely loved member of this Olympic team. She has represented the Olympic team, the Olympic spirit, with great enthusiasm. And I absolutely love her courage. I love her character.
This is what I mean when I'm talking about the delusion. This is what I'm talking about. You can't make this a woke, this is sexism at its finest. It's like, no, this is a poor display of athleticism and a complete mockery of representing your country is what it is. And then we're supposed to sit back and be like, this is sexism. What we're going to do here is just not fucking blame it, mate. We can't be blaming it on the athletic ability. I mean, that was the best we had, and we put that out there, mate. And you're not going to believe it. I'd fucking tell you, that girl out there, she's one of the best dancers I've seen in quite some time, right? We went down to the pub, right? All of a sudden, Michael Jackson's on, and this girl is move by move doing her whole dance scene from Thriller. And I thought to myself, I said, hey, Reagan, the Olympic trials for breakdancing are next week. And she looked at me and she says, I'm well aware. That's why I'm here. I'm practicing. Do you want a pint? And she says, no, I'm in training camp right now. I'm going to ask the DJ if he can put on one of those classic songs of breakdance history. And I'm hoping that he can play me a little Vanilla Ice. Because my hip-hop knowledge does not exceed anything that isn't a cracker behind the mic. So what I'm going to do right now is if you fellas don't mind, I wouldn't mind putting on some of the greatest hip-hop tracks of all time and practice me moves on the dance floor while you guys enjoy some pints. Training camp right now. My husband is just sitting at the table, so don't be getting any ideas that I'm looking for a dance partner because this is a solo event, eh? My Australian accent is very poor, and I'm well aware of that. But don't worry about it, mate. Don't worry. We're going to head on out there and get ourselves a gold medal in the first ever B-girl Australia. Unbelievable.
I feel very disappointed for her that she has come under the attack that she has. Yes, Rachel didn't get a point yesterday, but she was there doing her best. It takes great courage to walk out into...
Come on. She didn't get a single point. Not 1 point. But yeah, this is something to do with sexism. I can't anymore. I can't exist in the delusion. This is I know this is where I said I wasn't going to do it. But we're going to do it. We're deep into the episode. And this is going to be a difficult tight rope to walk, and we're going to have a little fun with it. Sometimes when I see a trans lady and I have no reason whatsoever to look and be like, lady, right. My eyes are not trying to trick me. I can see it for what it is. There's a cock and a G-string with a halter top on, and I am supposed to, my brain and my mouth don't work the same, and you hit them with hey man, how's it going? Man, if you got to do that, and if you have to convince us that you're a B-girl, is what I'm saying, I don't think you should get the opportunity to call yourself one. If you kind of scammed your way in there and you want us to believe that, this is all truth, this is all fact, I got here on sheer talent and ability instead of just conning the system, and that's what I mean when you look at it over there. is you see it and you're kind of, if you have to scratch your head and be like, what the hell is going on here? When you're looking at a trans lady, and I know this is a tightrope. All I'm saying is just like, make me believe. That's all. Draw me in. Fool me. I'll be happy to be fooled. Like that Blair White. Got me right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. Had no idea that was a trans woman. Had no idea. Not a clue. That made me question myself and be like, maybe, oh man, if I can't see that just based on, the walls are up, the smoke is there. I'm fooled. You got me. Congratulations. Then you should be awarded whatever. That's the award. That's the medal. That's what you get. You get the pass. But then, like, on the other hand, is we got like a ray gun, for instance, that goes up there. And quite honestly, I've seen numerous videos across social media platforms that have shown people being able to do her dance synchronized with her. Some of these ladies that were on there can spin so goddamn fast you think you're watching it in fast forward. But then you have just regular run-of-the-mill human beings, not athletic whatsoever, that were able to perform her dance. That to me is like the guy that goes into the women's washroom and women get offended by this. They know that it's one. We got two left shoes on, and they're not allowed to speak about this. And I know we said that we weren't going to go here in this episode and earlier, and but I'm just saying that if I'm duped, I have to own that. That's part of. I have to accept that my eyes believe that is a woman. But when you got like a 68-year-old man who just has the Hollywood Hogan chop going on upstairs, they got the Hogan salad, but it's dyed pink and in pigtails, but you got a tutu on and look like you've done your makeup with a paintball gun. I'm not convinced. I'm not going to lie to myself about this. Like, we all can see past it, where you get a feel like that Jeffree Star, not even trans. If you were to swing your head in a blur, you'd be like, who's this sexy? Oh my God. Oh no, God. Shit. You just have to accept it. Oh God. On a quick glance, I thought I was about to look at something nice, but hey, just a gay dude. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just accept it and you move on. You might be a little upset at yourself that you didn't catch it right out of the gate, but that's just the world that we live in.
Any sporting environment and try. Have a go. That's what we're encouraging our kids. How can we continue to encourage our kids to do that when we're prepared to slam our athletes who do it on a global stage? So I am very grateful for Rachel because I think what she has done for breakdancers and female breakdancers in the future generations will not be really appreciated for decades to come.
Yeah, no kidding, because you made a goddamn mockery out of it. That's what you said. You got to look inward a little bit there and be like, did we send our best one? There's no way that's the best one. There can't be. And if it is, sometimes you just have to look in the mirror and go, I don't think that this is a good idea. I think that maybe we should just pass on the breakdance thing. Let's put a pin in it. It's been a good run. We tried our best. We tried to find a good one. I went and researched a little bit. I ran some tape on other countries and some of the ones that we think are going to be attending. And, well, we don't really compare to that, Like if I took Blair White and then remember that, it's ma'am, at the GameStop, and I put them side by side, and I said, one of these is a woman. You have to get, and immediately you're going to go and be like, yeah, fucking that one, right? And you got it. And then you get fooled. You get duped because you picked one. Like those classic, like Thai ladies. There's like a classic saying that if you're traveling to Thailand, that if she's a 10, that's a guy. Simple as that. If she looks lights out, she's got a dick. Which is insane to think because, again, that's your mind. You see that and you're like, ooh, baby. They're aggressively sexual towards you. It feels good. You feel like a man again. But then it's just, that's a bro helping out a bro. No, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. If you can inspire a young man to have and instill confidence in him, meanwhile, you're kind of playing on the fence a little bit, I think that's fine. I think that's okay, right? As long as you're aware of it. Even if you're not, and you just need a boost of morale and you're walking down the streets of Bangkok and a lady boy is whistling at you and you're feeling good. They got nice knockers and you're zeroed in on the top half. You haven't hit the back nine yet. And it boosts your morale and you feel good and you got confidence again. I don't see a problem with that. Why would there be a problem with that? There shouldn't be. Continue on, good sir. Enjoy your day. You're welcome for the compliment. But I'm just saying, convince me that you're a B-girl. That's all. If we have to sit here and ridicule you to the high heavens all the way back down to earth before you can finally tune in and see what's truly happening, then God rest your soul. And with that, I say thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Uncle Hack Podcast, and we will see you next week, Thursday at 3 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, take care out there.